Welcome back for our weekly coach show with Coach Damon Floyd of the Bradley Central Bear football team. This is Gary Ownbey. We want to talk about our previous game last Friday night and then our upcoming game this Thursday night, folks. That's a Thursday game, so be aware of that. It got shifted due to the weather forecast, so hopefully the weather will be fine, but it's homecoming, and goodness knows we can handle this pretty little girl's hair all messed up in the convertibles, you know, in the rain. That would not work. Mom and Dad wouldn't like that. So we're going to have it on Thursday, which is fine. We love those Thursday games, except for Joe Cannon. He's always whining and complaining about those, right, Joe? And first thing, congratulations on a win, a road win, a region win, 38-28 up there at William Blunt. Wasn't easy, wasn't pretty, but it was a win.
Yeah, it was definitely ugly, but it is a win. It's a region win, and it's, keep us on track to, hopefully host a playoff game, so that's very important. And the main thing is you want to win. And, after looking at film, I was really pleased with the way we played. I mean, obviously, I know there was some things that happened in that game that were difficult to overcome, but I really thought we stuck together. We played hard, and for the most part, we played really well. We went in at halftime, and I can't remember the score at halftime, but I was a little unhappy. And, and I chewed them out pretty good. And then actually, Javon yesterday, we're lifting weights yesterday morning before school, and he's like, "Coach, you got mad at us." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. And you know what? I probably owed you an apology because after watching film, our guys really did. They played hard, and we stuck together during a lot of adversity, and so I was proud to see that."
Well, I know you can't comment on pitching, but I can as a member of the media, and I thought it was ridiculous. 15 penalties, 180 yards versus 4 for 26 yards against them. We had more yardage and penalties than they had offense the entire game, and that's not right, and I'll just leave it at that and say no more. But, folks, when you're on the road, hey, you never know what can happen.
3 penalties. We declined one.
Oh, that's right.
We declined the sack that we had. So, yeah, it was very frustrating. Frustrating.
It's frustrating, I know. And it came out on the radio between me and Earl, especially Earl. He doesn't hold back. But I got to brag on Javon Burke, another great performance, 304 yards I think we had him for. I think that's close. 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, maybe 4. And Joe can clarify that later for us. But 356 yards, that's the 4th best rushing effort ever in over 100 years. I mean, that's saying something there. 1,104 yards for the season. That's already number 8, and he's got several more games to go here this year. And I was looking at the record book I try to maintain, and he entered in 4 different categories Friday night at that effort there. And, man, we had him as player of the week last week and player of the game this week, and I don't know what more you can say about the guy, but he's just become a phenomenal horse for you there.
Yeah,
and you ride him, man.
We've said it week after week now. At some point in the season, he hit a different level. Mm-hmm. And I think it has a couple things to do, and he'd have to be the one to answer this, but I think he took a little bit more on when his brother got hurt. He kind of took it personal, and he's kind of not playing just for himself, but he's playing for his brother, I'd say, as well, too. But the way he's breaking tackles, obviously his speed's always been a factor, but the biggest thing is breaking tackles. Like, he's never going down on first contact.
Right.
So, hopefully he keeps moving up that record book and, has a lot more games to play. So, as long as our offensive line, is blocking like they're doing and opening holes, and then Javon not only hitting the hole but breaking tackles, then I think, sky's the limit. But our run game has really set up our whole team because now we're able to keep our defense off the field a little bit. We're getting a little bit of rest.
That's huge.
And so it's a total team effort, and I think Javon would be the first one to admit that, I said something to him yesterday about his offensive line. He said, "Coach, I know my offensive line's playing well." So it's a total team effort, but, yes, there's no doubt Javon is playing really, really special.
Well, my next comment was going to be you lost 4 starters on the offensive line last year, 4 out of 5. And you think, well, we got to rebuild that. And, that can be a weak point for us. But, boy, it's turned into the opposite of that. They have been strong. They've been opening holes. And Javon, like you say, he doesn't go – I call him yak yards after contact, yak yards. And he is – it takes 2 or 3 guys. And now we can just push that pile, and it keeps going. And I've called him down almost several times. And next thing I know, he's broken loose. He's gone for a few more yards or broken away in the open field. And he gets the open field, nobody's going to catch him.
Yeah, well, like you said, our offensive line, they took it personal. We knew as a coaching staff that we had guys behind our offensive line last year that can play, and our offensive line was really good last year. But Coach Gideon does a really good job of when they come in as freshmen, getting them ready to play by the time they're a sophomore, junior, obviously by a senior. But those guys worked hard in the weight room. They took it personal, and that's one of the things we kind of harped on them about is, look, everybody thinks on our team this is a weak spot. And I actually sent a group text to them all last week just saying how proud we are. Everybody thought it was going to be a weak spot, and it's now a strength. And those guys are close guys. Any guy that's an offensive lineman, those guys got to be close. And it's a tight-knit family, and they play for each other. Obviously, they're unselfish. They don't get a lot of credit. And I think it also helps, though, going up against our defensive line. You know, because when you go up against C.J. Hardy, Isaiah, Nadavian, Josh, who we call Gronk, you know, that's 4 guys that's going to give it to you every snap. And we've had some good battles in practice when we go one-on-ones and things like that. Once again, I'm going to repeat myself, but it's a team effort. But those guys took it personal that they thought it was going to be a weak spot for us this year.
Well, I was going to come on the defense. 171 yards total offense that you gave up. Anytime you hold a 6A school to 171 yards, you probably have won that game there. And I thought it was great. They had 17 yards on 16 carries. You can't get much better than that.
Yeah, so far rush defense has been pretty good, knock on wood. We got to continue that. But I was really, like I mentioned, I was really happy after watching film of the way our defense played, and we started breaking it down. Missed 2 tackles. One of their touchdowns was, you know, we kind of stop on the play because we think we actually made a big hit, and it looked like we kind of hit him from both sides, and that's how he stayed up. We fell down, then he went for 60 yards. So that was a major play for us that we gave up a lot of yards there. But I'm happy with the way we're lining up. We're communicating. You see guys communicating with hand signals, so verbally, hopefully they're communicating on the field. But we're lined up correctly. The biggest thing is, and it always is making tackles. I still feel like, you know, if you miss 1 tackle in a game, it's too many. And, yeah, we're doing a really good job of getting off blocks, so block destruction's working. We just got to get them on the ground every single snap.
Well, I don't think we had a single punt Friday night either.
No, never punted the ball, which is good to see.
That tells you that the offense is doing its thing, and we're getting great field position to the point where we don't have to get the ball up on a punt, so that's a big plus. We'll take a break right now. We'll return in just a moment. More live coverage here of Coach Damon Floyd's Coaches Show, brought to you by Los Margaritas.
One thing to love about the Tennessee Valley is Bradley Central Show Choir, Vocal Motion. The other thing to love is the local Geico office on Lee Highway.
You could save a lot. Oh, you could save a lot. Oh, you could save a lot. But how do you know?
Unless you call 894-2600. Got a car? Got a boat? Got a home?
Get a quote.
Well, Coach, this week we step out of the region into Soddy-Daisy's coming to us this year. It's homecoming night. Coach Barnes, did you play with him? Is he
Yeah.
I thought you did.
Let's see. When I was a senior at Chattanooga, he was a freshman.
I thought you had. Coach Justin Barnes been at Soddy now for 6 years there. And I know your game planning is directed. You never want to discuss any game but the next one. So the question I'll have to you right now, are the players thinking about McMinn yet, or are they concerned with Soddy-Daisy?
I mean, I don't have any clue what our players are thinking about. A teenage kid, if we can figure out what they're thinking, that'll be a gold mine. We're focused on Soddy-Daisy.
Yeah.
Just like any other week, that's our next opponent, so that's who we're focusing on. You know, speaking of Coach Barnes, and I know him well, and obviously played with him, and to me, he's I put him right up there with Derek Hunt and George Quarles at Maryville. as a play caller going against. He's the best that we've ever went against.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he puts you in situations, and he's going to read his quarterbacks always read the defense coverage well, and they know how to attack you when you hadn't been attacked that way, all year. And so you're going to see some things that we haven't seen on film. And quarterbacks are coached really well. Obviously, that's the position he played in college. He learned from some really good guys that are, coaching at major college football right now, and that was his coaches in college. So defensively, it will be no secret. We got to make sure nothing gets behind us, keep everything in front of us, and then we got to make tackles.
Okay.
We feel like if we make them drive the length of the field for any team, high school, college, pros, that's hard to do time after time. So we want to win the field position battle on special teams. Obviously, hopefully keep running the football like we have been and keep their offense off the field. But defensively, keep them everything underneath, not jump any routes, balls thrown, break up, make a tackle.
Well, the llast 8 encounters with them, we've won the last 8. Our record's we got an edge in the record, series-wise, but and we scored a lot of points in those 8 games. Last year's 49-35. This year, our defense has majorly improved. We're about 10 points per game down on the average, maybe 11 or 12 actually. Do you see this as a high-scoring shootout, or do you think it's more of a defensive game coming up?
I hope it's a win. I don't really care how we get there.
Okay.
I mean, obviously you want to play good on both sides of the ball. So offense, you want to score points. Defense, you don't want to give up as many. But I feel like we're a lot more physical than we were last year. Our front seven.
We seem to be, yeah.
Yeah, our front seven's played really well throughout the year. Do we make mistakes? Yes, but we seem to make up a lot of mistakes with effort as well. Still we're trying to get Ken super healthy. He didn't get to play again last week. He went in for one series and it wasn't working. So his hamstring's still hurting him. So he's a major part of our defense. But I say this: C.J. Hardy is our leader. Mm-hmm. Like when Ken's and C.J. are both our leaders on defense. But Ken's hadn't been around a lot the last 3 weeks because of his hamstring. C.J. is leading us. Emotionally, physically, he's always the guy talking on the sidelines, get your head up if something goes wrong. He's picking our team up, so I'm really proud of him for that. But I don't even remember what the question was. But defensively, our front seven has been really physical. So we never want to go into a game with thinking let's hold them to a certain amount of points. We want to hold them to 0. That's our goal against a team like Soddy. Is that a possibility? I don't know. We'll find out Thursday.
Well, it'll be interesting there. It should be a fun game. It is a 7:30 kickoff still, even though it's on Thursday. Last week, I know you've gone back and forth on kickoff. Sometimes you'll kick it long. Sometimes you'll kick that little pooch kick. Try to get high with that fair catch. You can't return it. Last week, they burned us a couple of times. They had some really, really good returns. Does that concern you on the field precision?
Yes. Any time we kick off, and it really shouldn't be that hard. We should be able to find 10 guys, not the kicker, but that want to run down there and make a tackle. And for some reason, we do not do that consistently. And so as a coach, it's very frustrating because it's a chance for us to win the field position battle, and it's something we've struggled with. We're going to keep working at it, and when those guys mess up, then on Monday, on payday, they have to pay for those mistakes. But we should never let the ball cross the 50-yard line, and our coverage has just not been good, plain and simple. So if those guys are listening, they need to take it to heart and to take it as a challenge to get down there and make a tackle. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
The guy's trying to block you. Don't let him block you. Avoid the front line and get down there and make a tackle.
Yeah, it's a simple game.
Yeah, now we just got to do it.
Okay, focusing back on Soddy-Daisy now, what do you see when you look at their film? What concerns you? Is it their offense or defense? I mean, they like to pass, run the ball, RPOs? Or
it's RPOs. They're going to run the ball. It's his own read stuff, so it's like a triple option every time. They may hand it, quarterback keep it, or he's going to throw. We know they're going to go check with me. So when we line up defensively, Coach Barnes is going to look, and then he's going to put them in the right play. And there's holes in every defense, so they'll probably do a good job. And I've told our guys, look, you can't get frustrated if they're getting first downs and they're catching the ball. We just got to make a tackle. So we're going to give them some different looks. Last year, we probably stayed in the same look too long, or even coming into the game, and they took advantage of it. This year, they'll see some different fronts and some different coverages to try to mess with them a little bit. But like you mentioned, it still comes down to blocking and tackling. So it'd be really nice if we can take our front three and put pressure on them. And put them in a throwing game, stop the run, and then, let CJ and Gronk and Isaiah and David let those guys get pressure. And then we can have more guys in coverage. Like you said before, it's a simple game. Yep. So just got to execute.
Well, we got a 7:30 kickoff on Friday night or Thursday night, folks, with Soddy. It got moved because of the possibility it's going to rain there, but should be a fun game to watch. It's homecoming 2020. By the way, the left field lounge will be back in action. Travis Adams will have the great grills going over there by the left field lounge. So go there before pregame, get you a big barbecue plate if you would like to. Join me, Earl, and Gwen Thursday night. I keep wanting to say Friday night. 6 o'clock live in the press box there. Until next week, for Lost Margaritas, we appreciate them ever so much being our sponsors. For Coach Damon Floyd, I'm Gary Ownbey. We'll say so long for now. God bless, and go Bears!